Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube, and today we are doing another speed build. So you probably can guess, based on the house being called Lavender Lane, that it once again has something to do with my Sims 3 heir Lavender. And yes, I know, I've already built Lavender a house. I did this really funky on like a hillside. It was a couple months ago. It was one of the hardest houses I've ever built, and it's kind of funky and it doesn't quite work how intended, but at the same time it's probably one of the coolest houses I think I've ever done. Definitely something I'll still need to practice and try some more. But yeah, anyways, this is actually supposed to be Lavender's, when I'm planning things out, I called this Lavender's family home. And then when I was planning to build her starter home, that's what I put in my schedule, is Lavender's starter home. Despite the fact that I'm pretty sure that house was not priced as a starter home. It's the house that I intend for her to live in at first. And then when she's ready to have a family, then she'll move into this house. So this house is kind of like a craftsman style. I actually really like the exterior of this house. I feel like it came together really well. I'm a little iffy on the color, because it's a gray house. Lavender Lane comes from some of the purple accents inside and the fact that it was built for a sim named Lavender, not because the house itself is lavender. But for the most part, I actually really like how the exterior of this house looked, and I was so happy with it. And then I started on the interior, and I hate the interior of this house. I hate it so much, to the point that I'm debating when it is time to actually move into this house, completely gutting it and trying again, because I don't like it. It did not work how I wanted it to work. How I have it currently laid out inside, like that front room on the bottom level that we just did, that has the vertical paneling on it. It's right there that I'm copying all the colors off of. So that was actually going to be an office, because I somehow convinced myself that the space that I had set up for the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room was going to be big enough to have all three of those rooms, and I found out it was not big enough for those three rooms. And so I was like, oh, I'll just put the living room then up in this front office space. But it's actually kind of an odd shape. It's a rectangle, and nothing I was doing looked good. And then I used, okay, Chloe. Nothing I was doing looked right, and then this house actually has spiral stairs instead of like the normal 4 tile long stairs. So I was like, oh, the spiral stairs will save me some space. But then I have a half bath that leads into a laundry room that also leads into the garage, and that room made the hallway kind of weird, so I had to put the doorway, you'll see all of this. I liked the floor plan until it was time for me to furnish the floor plan, and then I was like, I don't like the floor plan anymore, and it every room of this house fought me. I struggled to furnish every room of this house. The exterior was just coming to me, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. I can do this. I like how this is looking. And then I went inside, and it, again, went downhill really fast. It went downhill so fast. Also, the pauses here is either one, the game's trying to load, or I was trying to find a new show to watch. I had my phone propped, and I even have a TV behind me, and it has a fire stick and everything. but I wanted to be able to see what I was watching. So I wasn't stopping to watch. I don't watch shows, I listen. But I still wanted to see what was going on too without having to constantly turn around. So I had it propped. There's this like shelf that my monitors sit on that's attached to the desk, and there's metal bars that support it. So I prop my phone against the middle metal bar. And sometimes I'll have it like that when I've been watching a show, like while playing off screen, and then I don't move the phone, and then I'll get a text message in the middle of recording, and it's really loud because it's vibrating off that metal bar. So, yeah. You can see it right here. Like that awkward, like diagonal, I think looks good in theory, but makes things kind of tricky. What I might do, I just need to rework this whole floor plan. I was obsessed. I was determined that I was going to put that fireplace with the, like, I don't even know what you would call that, shiplap? I don't think that's what that's called. But, like, the horizontal wood paneling, the white horizontal paneling behind it. I had been looking at inspiration pictures, and I'd seen that style, and I was like, I want to use this somewhere, and I was determined I was going to use it behind the fireplace. So yeah, I built this house with 3 bedrooms. So there's 2 of them upstairs with a bathroom, and then the 3rd master bedroom downstairs. And I don't know, I'm thinking like 2 kids. The next generation, I don't believe, has, like, a required amount of kids. So I wasn't really sure. I just knew I wanted more than 1. Because we've done 2 generations of only having 1 child. And, like, I was pretty bored, not gonna lie, with our first generation with Daisy and Zinnian growing up. Because there just wasn't much going on. Like, Daisy was so busy grinding out skills that there was very little going on. Our first generation was also really short. I think it was only like 10 parts. It was really short. Now, generation 2 was kind of the same. I don't know if you just heard my wrist pop. Was kind of the same. So once again, we had 1 child, but she's adopted. And up until adopting Lavender, like, it was pretty boring. It was very repetitive. It was just a lot of Zinnian going to work, coming home, taking care of his cats. He's like a crazy cat guy. So he'd go to work, come home, take care of the cats, do some skill building, take care of his needs, sleep, wake up, do the same thing the next day. And it was very boring for that part. But then we adopted Lavender. And when we adopted Lavender, I feel like things got a little bit more interesting. Not a whole lot when she was little, but I had also installed some new, like, toddler interaction mods, and so I was able to mess around with those, and that helped to spice things up a little bit. And then as a child, just kind of the same. And I don't do a lot with, like, the Sims 3 teenager, like, mood swings. I kind of just let those pass, but I really played into it. I developed this whole story with Lavender from as a teenager, and that's not, I don't usually do that. I normally focus a bit more on my Sims when they're young adults. I don't do a whole lot of story build up when they're teenagers, that I'm remembering at least. And I did with Lavender. Like, so Lavender has a best friend. His name is Daniel. And I'm actually going to be changing his name to be Danny instead of Daniel. I mean, Danny is normally what you would call someone named Daniel for short. But I made my own Sims 3 challenge, my own Sims 3 legacy, and it's based on the Barbie movies, and I was thinking that eventually we're going to have a Sim named Daniel from Swan Lake, right? I think. No. Yes, Swan Lake. And I really don't like reusing names for characters that are like really big, really important to my generation. So I don't like reusing heir names. I don't like reusing their partners' names. I really don't like using the same name that a child might have had. So I think I'm going to change his name to be Danny, which can still be short for Daniel. But like it really bothers me that I'd eventually have a sim in that challenge named Daniel, and then I would have had Daniel here. So his name will be switching to Danny. But anyways, that's beside the point. So Lavender and Danny met as kids, and they were really close, and they were best friends, and then they aged up into teenagers, and Lavender just kept hanging out more and more with Danny, and it was becoming more and more of this crush. Okay, so she had a crush. I'm actually gonna look. I wrote down their whole backstory. So I'm just going to read that because it's easier. So as she grew up, Lavender and Danny were inseparable, but upon aging into a teenager, Daniel began to drift and got a girlfriend named Iris. Lavender was upset at their friendship going on the back burner and had a heavy disliking of Iris, believing she's not good enough for Daniel, when in reality, she's actually jealous because of her kind of unrecognized romantic feelings for Danny. As a teen, Lavender egged Iris's house. So again, like I told you, I really bought into this whole teenage prank part of the mood swing phase. But she egged Iris's house. Iris found out and then fought with her. Hold on. I will stick a note. Okay. And I have it taped to my page, so now it's upside down. Oh, this is awkward. Hold on. Okay. So then they fought because Iris followed Lavender to the junkyard because Lavender's supposed to be an inventor, and so she had to go get scrap metal. But Iris followed Lavender to the junkyard, pretending to be interested in the same things as Lavender in hopes that it would further endear her to Danny, hoping that like he would like her more if she was into the things that his childhood best friend that he loves so much, like platonically at this point, but his childhood best friend that he just loves so much, like, well, maybe if I'm more like her, he'll like me even more. But then after they fought, Iris went back to Danny and told him that Lavender had attacked her. Danny confronted Lavender about it. They lost their BFF status, and Danny suggested that they take some time apart as he's tired of being in the middle and listening to them complain about each other. So, like, I put this whole story into place, and I had so much fun with it. Like, I was having a blast, okay? Especially because Lavender is, like, it's that very pretty, pale purple color and very, like, girly, dainty, and that is Lavender's room. She's always had a very girly room. Like, her dad absolutely spoils her. She drives a purple convertible Volkswagen Beetle, which probably wouldn't have been the car she would have picked for herself, but her dad does not quite understand girls and women. He's never dated. He's never been in love. He has his mom, who is his best friend until she passed, and then he has his daughter, and that's really the only interaction he's ever had with women, with females. So he doesn't really know much about them. He has a kind of a hard time reading his daughter. He loves her to pieces. They adore each other, but like he also doesn't quite understand her. And he was just like, "Oh, look, cute purple car. I'm gonna get it for my little girl." And she's like, "Thanks, Dad. It's great." Is kind of the vibes. But that's how Iris knew it was her, because Lavender's the only person with a purple convertible Volkswagen Bug, and it was seen driving away from the house. So she wasn't very smart about hiding any form of like somebody finding out. So yeah, I don't know, but I had so much fun playing it. Like, I'm having so much fun even just talking about it, because it was such a fun storyline that was just kind of developing, and as it went, I was like, this is so good, this is working, this is doing so good. So yeah, so when we get back into the challenge, we're gonna give Danny some space. We're gonna let him kind of chill out, kind of cool down. But then we are gonna try and reconnect with him and try and convince him to break up with Iris. And like maybe Lavender kind of comes to grips that, oh my gosh, I feel this way about my childhood best friend. What are we gonna do about it? Maybe I should try pursuing it. It's not like our relationship could get any worse. So yeah. And then we have all our cats. We have a couple of cats. And you know what I just realized? I didn't furnish this house with anything for cats. Oops. But yeah, so then we've now gotten obviously into the interior. The kitchen does not look how I want it to look. The dining room is way too small. And then we have this half bath laundry room, and this awkward diagonal wall makes that corner where I just put the plants really awkward to furnish because it technically conflicts with anything you could have put there in its place. So now we have the living room, and again I was like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how I want to set this up. Everything I put down I just wasn't liking because it was leaving this weird open space behind, and I didn't want the couches pushed up against the wall like they are now. Like, I just didn't know what to do. And for some reason I was also very self-conscious of the fact that, again, this house is being recorded, this is being filmed, and I'm like, this all looks stupid. Nobody's gonna want this. Nobody's gonna like this. What am I doing? This looks awful. They're all gonna look at this and be like, Kate sucks at building. What is this? So I don't know. I don't know. Looking back at what I'm actually doing right now, I don't hate it. I don't love it though. Like, when I turn and look at the wall like this, it's very boxed off. And that was part of my issue. I'm like, I don't like how boxy it is. And I also wanted to bring that white wood paneling back that I'd used, that I was determined I was going to use behind the fireplace. And I was like, maybe I can incorporate that again here. And I still wanted to add in the splashes of purple. But I feel like purple's a bit harder to add into houses because it is more of a feminine color. I don't know. I was like, I didn't feel like I could make the whole house purple. I also really wanted those dog pictures. I really wanted a cat version, but it did not happen. So yeah, I did all this. I did like a picture wall, but I was really wanting the freedom that you have with like the Sims 4 picture placement, and you don't have that here. You're very stuck, very limited. So I was like, maybe I don't know. I was just trying to make it work. I was like, I'm gonna find some pictures that are kind of the same shape, or no, not the same shape, that are different shapes, but like kind of fill this wall. It looked very cluttered. I didn't love it. I'm like, maybe I'll put a mirror here. Maybe that'll help. It didn't help. Didn't help. So I was like, maybe I should move on from it. I didn't. I was so stuck. I was like, I hate this living room. So then I was like, I'm gonna do half walls. What if I break the room up with half walls? And that'll solve all of my problems. Spoiler, it didn't. It did not solve my problems. I don't know. I don't know. I would love if you guys have, like, as you're watching this, if you have suggestions for what I could do, what I could try. Because it's not like we're going to live in this house anytime soon. We still have a while until they will move into this house. I also built this house right across the street from my Nutcracker house. In my Barbie challenge. So like literally right across the street is Grandfather Drosselmeyer's house, where Clara and Tommy and Grandfather live. So when I record that challenge next, you will see the house across the street, because this lot was originally empty and I already had the save open, and I really didn't want to worry about loading into another save. And I was like, I'll just build it on a 30 by 20 lot here in town. Well, there was only 2 30 by 20 lots, and they were directly across the street from the house. So here's where I built it. I don't know. I lost my flow. I lost my groove when it came time to do the interior. I didn't know what I wanted. And again, Lavender is into inventing, and the garage is too small. I tried putting her inventing table in the garage, but it was just way too tight, and I didn't know if she'd actually be able to get to the inventing table if a car was parked in the garage. Which you'll see me kind of fidgeting with that later, and then I end up putting it outside, but I don't like the idea of it being outside because then she could get rained on, and I don't want it to be like, I don't want to have to be worrying about the weather on if she can go outside, like if she can be inventing or not. I don't know, like I don't like this space. I don't like it at all. I was really struggling. Like, every time I looked at the house, I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it, and I don't know what to do to fix it. And I really don't want to bulldoze it, because this house also should not have taken me as long as it did. Especially because I only decorated the first floor. I didn't decorate anything upstairs. I only decorated the first floor, and this house took me about 2.5 hours, and it shouldn't have. It should have taken me about an hour and a half, but because I kept changing the living room, and I couldn't make up my mind, and I was in the kitchen dining room area for a while, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do there either. Like, it was just, not good. Not good. So then I was looking up inspiration pictures right here for the bedroom, because also an awkward shape. Didn't know what I wanted to do here. I think my problem was that I made the master bathroom too big. The master bathroom does not need to be 4x3. It could have been smaller. I could have given myself a bit more room. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't do it. I should have changed it. I didn't do it. The more I talk about it and the more I look at the house as we're building it, the more I'm thinking I'm going to gut it and restart some other time. But by this point, I was like, okay, but I've already done all this work. And I'd stayed up a bit later, and I was like, okay, we're just going to grind this out. We're just going to finish it up. We're going to push through. It'll be okay. I was kind of hoping that the purple in that picture kind of connected with the purple elsewhere in the room. I don't know. I just don't like any of it. And then I did put a single tile custom content crib in this room, which will actually need to be moved depending on if you have an infant or a toddler, because babies, like your sim can put babies in front. They go in from the they lean down to their right, I think, for babies. But for toddlers, they lean down and put them in the crib leaning to their left. And if you have the single tile crib up against the wall like that, they will throw a fit because they don't think, so here, they wouldn't be able to put toddlers in, because they would have to be, in the wall in order to lean to the left, put the toddler down. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. If I might just put the crib up against that long wall. I don't know. I feel like that's my answer to everything. Anymore is just, I don't know. I need to get it tattooed on my palm, and just anytime I just constantly show my palm. I don't know. That'd be so painful though. A tattoo across on your palm. No. I wouldn't do that. The only time I would ever consider, and I actually did right after she passed, I very heavily considered getting a tattoo for George. And I said forever ago, when she was still pretty little, when maybe she was 2 or 3, when she was young, I should say. I joked with my dad at one point. I'm like, well, I'm going to get a tattoo of George someday, of her paw print or of her name or of her nose or something. And my dad's like, we're not going to do that. Why would you do that? Because unfortunately, the realistic thing is George is not my only dog. She was never going to be my only dog, and he's like, if you did that, you'd have to do it for every dog you had, and I don't know. So I was like, well, surely I won't. As I got older, I'm like, I say I will, but I probably won't. But I don't know. Right after she passed, I was very heavily considering, but then I couldn't make up my mind of what I would have wanted. I don't know where I would have put it. Like, there are still times where I'm like, maybe I should, but I just don't know where. I don't want anything fine line, because I know fine line does not age well, and that's another thing. I'm like, I don't know that I want a tattoo for when I'm older, because tattoos very rarely age well, just in general, as you get older. So I'm like, I don't know where I would want to put it. I don't want anything fine line. I don't want it to be somewhere that's super tender. But I want it to be somewhere that I could hide it. But then at the same time, I want it to be somewhere where I can see it. Because otherwise, like, what's even the point? Like, it was just, I don't know. There was something I found at one point that I really liked as I was just randomly scrolling on TikTok, and I didn't save it, nothing, and I should have, and I lost it, and now I can't remember what it is. I just remember seeing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could actually talk myself into doing it and figure out where I'd want to put it, that's what I want. And now I don't remember what it is. I don't remember what I'd seen that I was like, yes, that. But I don't know. Because then I would want one for Moose someday. And then there's like, well, do I want one for the corgis? Because Moose is fully mine. Like, he's mine in every sense of the word. Like, he's under my name. I'm the one who filled out, like, all of his paperwork. Like, in every sense of the word, he's my dog. Where the corgis technically aren't. They're technically my parents' dogs. But they're always with me. Like, they sleep with me every night. They're with me right now. Like, I pay for their vet bills. I pay for their grooming bills. I pay for their food because they're both on diet food because they're both little piggies. They're little chunks, and their weight is very difficult to keep under control. It's expensive weight loss food, too. Like, diet, God, like, dang, it's like $120 a month. It's crazy. They're lucky I love them. But I don't know. Again, they're not technically mine. So, also that slide in the back is custom content. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I use that's custom content. Because normally I don't really hold myself back. Like, I use the Town Life gym equipment, or jungle gym equipment, I mean, out back. If it's a house I know I'm going to play in, I don't hold back on custom content, store content. Sorry, I didn't realize I'd put that picture first. But we're at the screenshots now. The house will be down in the description if you'd like to download it. Again, if you have any ideas for what I can do to maybe like it more, I'd love to hear them, because I just don't. Because then I have that awkward space behind the half wall in the kitchen, and I don't know what to put there, because I feel like a desk would interfere. I don't know. But I'm all done. It'll be in the description. Please don't take credit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye!